Alright, earlier in the video I mentioned that I private labeled items. What does that mean? When you private label an item, you're basically getting a physical item, right? That's generic in nature, right? It has no logo, no branding. You get this from your supplier in Asia, in China, anywhere, right? It could be in America, it could be anywhere. You're getting a generic product, then you slap your logo and brand on it, and you customize the packaging, the design, right? And now you have a branded item. That's what private labeling is. So in my case, I had to begin private labeling items just to basically stay competitive, and because I had generic items that anybody could go and find on Alibaba.com, to a point where I had a listing. I had people who would try to hijack my listing, right? That's when they try to sell the same item because they found the same supplier on Alibaba. They would try to sell that same item under my listing. As a result, they're taking some of my sales, some of my money. Now, I love my money, right? So the only way I could really take them out from competing with me was to make my product unique, right? Unique in terms of branding and labeling. Because on Amazon, I can't stop them from selling the same item they have, right? Because they also were able to find the same product on Alibaba. So what happened was, I went back to my supplier, and they had something known as OEM capabilities. I believe this stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer. Don't quote me on that. This means that they're able to customize the product to your liking, right? So they, for a fee, right, for an added fee, depending on the item, I basically pay more money, right? And they give me the design template, which I just opened up in Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, what have you. Put my logo on it, change up the colors, change the text, sent back the design file to them, and now they're able to print off those batteries or that product with my labeling, my custom logo and brand. Right now, they're the same exact batteries as the other guys are selling, but they're branded, right? So now nobody can compete with me on Amazon because it's my own listing, my copyright, right? The branding and the logo is my copyright. So no one can compete with me. As a result, I have my own individual listing and I'm making money on it. Now the thing that will shock you is, right, private labeling in the retail space is a very popular word, right? Because almost everybody's doing it. A lot of big brands out there private label the stuff. So for example, watches, most watches out there, they're private labeled because there are very few actual real watch manufacturers. So all they do is, these big brands could be like Tommy Hilfiger, for example, right? If you see a Tommy Hilfiger watch, do you think Tommy Hilfiger, a clothing company, has their own watch engineers making watches? They don't, right? They go to, whether it's Switzerland, Japan, China, what have you, find a watch manufacturer who makes generic watches, right? It could be high-end generic watches, right? Or it could be low-end generic watches. Doesn't matter, right? You find the different type you like, you customize it to your liking, add your logo, and resell it. Right, so for example, Daniel on Facebook, Daniel Wellington is a very popular watch brand. They've been able to blow up on social media, right? The founder is making a killing, right? But all he does is just go on in Asia, find suppliers, right? Has them customize the product to his liking, right? Add his logo on it, and that's that. And he's making money. The second popular brand is Kirkland for Costco. Anybody who's gone to Costco, who shops at Costco, has seen Kirkland everywhere. You have Kirkland for milk, Kirkland for clothing, Kirkland groceries, right? It's a generic brand. They're just private labeling all that stuff and putting the name on it, right? A third example is Shreds. This company has blown up out of nowhere via Instagram, right? They've been able to leverage Instagram influencer marketing, right? The guy was basically buying this fitness nutrient, I think whey protein, whatever it is, right? He gets this fitness supplement equipment, right? Adds his Shreds logo to it. Then using branding and marketing, he was able to hype it up on Instagram by having all these fitness people pose with his item, right? With his private labeled item, right? And people are buying it in numbers, in droves, right? Not knowing that it's just any generic stuff, and just branding and advertising added to it, right? That's the power of private labeling your items. So it's a very, very profitable industry, right? It's basically the next step from selling any generic stuff to next level thinking. So if you want to make a killing, The guys who are making six figures, making millions, almost all of them are private labeling their items on Amazon. And if you want to make a killing, that's the route you have to go as well. Because once you private label your items, you can now get that same item or product and put it and send it to actual retailers and get your items into stores, physical stores, right? That's the power of private label.